Hey there guys, welcome back to Adderley After 5. Thank you so much for the love that you showed the first video. I didn't really expect that. Absolutely excited. The next video in the series of videos that I'm going to be doing on my channel is essentially one that reflects back on my last 4 months in business and just what are some of the lessons that I've learned or some of the key points that I've picked up on the way so that you don't have to go and, I guess, struggle through some of these pieces, and maybe just hearing me talk about some of it will encourage you. And that's the one thing that I'm really excited about, encouraging some people who are about to start businesses and just need that little final push. Encouraging you. I just started. So even if it means that you follow along and you kind of just follow my journey, I'll help you with some of the speed bumps that I have come across or the potholes that I've come across. And we can essentially grow together, man. But please, remember to subscribe. Hit the little bell icon and then leave your comments in the comment section below, so that I can also, I guess, learn how I can help you guys. What questions you guys have will dictate the videos that I create and kind of how I maneuver helping you guys, I guess. But let's get straight into the video. Some of the top tips some of my tips that I've picked up and lessons that I've learned in my last 4 months. So, number one, I think the first one is the time will never be right. Honestly speaking, this is a saying that my boss and I have, especially when it's time for me to take leave. I always go, oh, geez, there's so much work in the system. And my boss always goes, the time will never be right. Just do it. And that's essentially what my first piece of advice is. Definitely just take the leap. Start quick, start dirty. Even if it fails, take the learnings. I'm not necessarily saying that it's going to fail. Jesus, that's a really bad place to start. But what I'm saying is you're always going to be crafting along the way. So if you start, right, you'll learn lessons very quickly and then you can adjust your business plan. You don't necessarily have to have everything planned, because I think that's one of the points further down. Things will go wrong. Things will definitely go wrong. Listen, trust me, things will definitely go wrong. So just start. I think the big point for just getting started is for you to feel confident in what you're doing, you have to start off a really good base. And for me, it's really important to start with your product or your service that you're offering the people. Visually, the actual product, the service that you're offering needs to be of quality. There's no way around offering shit quality. Realistically speaking, there's just absolutely no way around it. But if you're working off a good foundation, a good base, with your service being good, I genuinely recommend that you just start. And this is always really easy. And I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. It's a lot easier if you're doing something that's in your field. Then, to be fair, to a certain extent, you have base knowledge. The offering that you put out can be I guess, benchmarked off what you're doing as a standard. Because for me, if I do something in the digital space, because my 9 to 5 is in the digital space, I come with a certain level of expertise or experience or knowledge that I bring to the table. So I'm not necessarily starting from scratch. So if you are starting one of those businesses where it is something that's in your field, absolutely do. Absolutely get going. Don't wait. Nobody's ever gonna go, oh, the time is right now, chief. Go. The wind is not going to blow a certain way and you're going to feel oh, okay, no, that was the sign I need to start. Just get going. Really, I can't emphasize this enough. I really can't emphasize this enough. Cool. The second one is treat people right. I think in general, it's a point. You do need to treat people right. But if you want to be in business, you absolutely need to have treated people right before and need to treat people right going forward. Why I say this is because you're always going to need people. You're gonna lean on your network heavily. You're going to lean on favors. You're going to ask people. You're going to have to call people up and go, do you have who's number? Or can you get me in front of X, Y, and Z? It's really important for you to treat people right. And it will definitely, I guess, make your path going forward a little bit easier. For me, that's really important. Treat people right. I guess one of my core values, essentially, but I think in business, more importantly. For me, I do it generally because I just think it's the right thing to do, not because I want something from somebody in the future. But the reality of the situation is you're going to need somebody in the future. You're going to have to be able to call up somebody and go, yo. And then also a workload shared. Honestly speaking, business can be really lonely. And that's also one of the points going down a little bit further. So you're always going to need people. just so that you also remain sane, man. You're also just gonna have to have soundboards, like people that you bounce ideas off. Really, really important, so that you're not necessarily doing things just subjectively and sometimes isolating yourself and feeling like you're by yourself, essentially. And help where you can. Like, honestly speaking, for me now, one of the services that I'm going to be offering, and I'll talk a bit more about it towards the end of the video, is just helping people start their businesses. You pay me a little consulting time and I'll literally make it cheap so that anybody can afford it. And then I just talk you through things. I actually had a call with one of my friends yesterday, like I said, and she wants to start a spa. And her point was, like, literally, she does not know where to start. And I said, okay, cool. Since I've walked the journey now for a little bit of time, pay me for my time and I can absolutely talk you through some of these pieces. I don't want no ownership. I don't want anything from you. You're just paying me for my time and I'll help you set up. For me, I think long term, when I look back, I want to be able to count the number of people that I put on. Or not be able to count the number of people that I put on, and like not expecting anything from them, just helping people out. You pay me what I think is fair, and I'll absolutely help you get off. But besides me, there's so many people. There's a whole community of people that you can reach out to. Find somebody who's done it before and is comfortable talking to you, but somebody that you trust, though, because people can definitely find ways to screw you over. So find somebody that you trust. Look around, look for reviews if it's not somebody that you trust, etc., etc. But definitely treat people right, because you're going to need a whole lot of people. And then I think the third point, and just building on top of that, is choosing the right people. Because the reality of the situation is you don't necessarily want yes men around you. You absolutely don't want yes men around you. You want people who can critically talk to you and feel free to give you honest opinions. So I have this one friend, Gerald, and I hope he doesn't mind me adding him into my video. But I absolutely hate talking to Gerald about my business plans, about my business ideas. But I also know it's a critical part of my developing business ideas, just because Gerald asks all the questions. And for me, that's kind of like a nice gauge for whether I've thought things through, some of the blind spots that I might have had before. It definitely helps me. It definitely helps me. And I think you should also choose the right people, not just yes men. And then also find somebody that you can bounce ideas off. So kind of that person that will hear you out and then go, but have you considered, or have you considered? And sometimes that might not just be one person. That might be 2 or 3 people, but it has to be people that you trust. Because so for example, I can talk to my mom about quite a lot of things, and but she's not really technically skilled digitally. So if I need some digital advice or somebody who's been in the space a little bit longer, I go and talk to somebody who's in that space. Do you know what I mean? Point number 4, it's okay to not know. Honestly speaking, I think this is a very, very important point. The unknown is really scary, and if that freaks you out, business will freak you out. It's okay to not know. I think where the problem comes in is if you don't know, but you don't do anything about it. So, just in this last little while, goodness gracious, I've had conversations about development in USSD, owning, registering a payment gateway. There's so many conversations that I've had that I know absolutely nothing about. I know absolutely nothing about those spaces. But then I didn't go, I don't know, so I'm not going to even try. What I try and do is try and get a base understanding for the space, and then get a few people to talk to in the space and just learn. Just literally ask all the questions, etc., etc. And then you literally, slowly but surely, gain muscle memory for being okay not knowing. But yeah, you definitely have to be okay not knowing. That's very, 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 very important. Managing your time. So if you are like me, essentially working a 9 to 5, and then in your off time, trying to start a business or trying to just see what's out there and what can be done, it is very important that you manage your time. You actually need to sit down and go 9 to 5. I work my real job or my full-time job. And then after hours, I have so much time available. I still need to be a social person. I still need to have friends. I still need to have a life. All of these things need to be considered. So managing your time is something that you're definitely going to have to do. And I think when you work it out, on average, you'd have, if you're working a 9 to 5, you'd have about 100 hours available to work overtime if you were trying to be sensible. But yeah, like honestly speaking, try and manage your time. I'm not necessarily going to go into the ins and outs or how I went about it, but like I'm just trying to make you aware of the fact that it's very important that you manage your time. Otherwise, you'll absolutely not sleep. Business is stressful enough and you will already not be able to sleep. But not being able to sleep because you have deadlines that you have to meet, etc., you don't want to be loading more stress onto yourself, especially because business is stressful enough. Cool. Point number, whatever this is, I'll try and do a counter on the little shindig, but listen. Not everyone will get it. And that is very, very important to also understand. Not everybody will get your business idea. So when you're putting your business idea in front of people, don't get deterred when they don't necessarily understand. But also take heed. Heed sounds very sexual. Take heed. Listen, it's after 5, my English bundles, I told you guys in the first video. But just be aware, right, that not everybody will understand your business ideas. So like, for example, I'm going to use me personally, spent a lot of time with all the tools that I have, etc., coming up with a business plan. And then I went to go and put this business plan in front of somebody when I was trying to get funding, etc. And having sat on the business plan for a while, I think it was 2 weeks that the person sat on the business plan, and then setting some time for us to talk through the plan twice. The person then turned around to me and said, but you only need 20,000 to start this business. And in that moment, it was really important for me to not go, you fucking asshole. Did you even spend 2 seconds trying to understand what I'm trying to do here? Because your response literally tells me that you didn't understand. But instead, you kind of go, okay, I absolutely understand that you looked at it and this is the conclusion that you came to. Unfortunately, the plan that I'm working to really does not, match what you are seeing. And I think it was not even double, triple. It was fucking 1,000 times more than the amount the person had said. Or even worse, starting a business in the digital space. In the rest of some of the developing African markets. That's really difficult. When, realistically speaking, you're coming with something that is not really being done or not really being done well in some of these markets and is not really understood. So if you're trying to sell something that people don't understand already, your departure point is you're going to have to work on it. I think it's really important to be aware of this and not get discouraged, especially me. I have a very brittle ego. I'm lying. I don't really have a brittle ego. Fuck everybody, man. But yeah, if you're one of those people who are very sensitive, it's important to know that not everybody will get it and that their opinions are theirs. It's for you to essentially to understand where they're coming from and see it from at least try and see where they're coming from. And then, make a decision from that for how much, importance you place on the feedback that you're getting. Then following up on that one, no one owes you shit. Literally nobody owes you shit. I think the big thing is you get, you'll find yourself in a space where you are really passionate about your project. And you feel that this is the next big thing. How is it that nobody else can see this, right? And then when you go and pitch it to people, and you're not met with that enthusiasm, or you're met with a negative energy, I think it's really important for you to understand that nobody owes you shit. Don't become emotional about it. You're gonna have to learn to roll with the punches. You're gonna get a little steel jaw so that you can take them all. But it's really important that you don't necessarily start getting emotional or reacting from a point of emotion. Always keep it classy. Always keep it professional. Just go, thank you, I understand where you're coming from, and keep it pushing. You will definitely find a way. And that's the thing that I've come to learn. For some odd reason, things find a way to fall in place. A friend might out of the blue reach out and go, geez, dude, I saw that thing that you posted. I have this idea, or I have this delivery company. Maybe we can link up. Honestly, just put yourself out there, put positive energies out there, and the world will repay you. Like, honestly, sometimes pieces fall into place. Sometimes I think where the frustration comes in is that it doesn't necessarily happen at the pace that we would like, but we're just gonna have to be okay with it. Like just rest assured that things will fall into place. And even if it means that things are falling, well, let me rephrase. Even if things falling into place means that the business fails, right? It means that you have learned something that you can take forward into your next venture. And that's kind of why I'm saying don't be scared to start. Just start. Even if it's starting small, you'll learn a lot. So like, for example, I'm trying to get into the online e-commerce space in some of the smaller African markets. And I guess an example in that space of somebody starting small is somebody starting an Instagram boutique rather than going full out and getting a website, etc., etc. Start your little Instagram boutique. Start with 100 people that you can reach and see how they engage some of the pieces that you put out. That will give you a lot of learnings. And please make sure that you note some of these pieces down, hey? Because you'll get a lot of learnings that you can then go and implement in future businesses or as this business that you're currently busy with grows, essentially. Nobody owes you shit. You are not alone. Jesus, this is very close to Liverpool's bullshit, but you are definitely not alone. In business, and I think Vusi Tembekwaya, and I watched quite a few of his videos and some other guys who are also in business and some of their advice pieces. Vusi actually talks very eloquently about the loneliness that you can experience in business. Because you're essentially an outsider, you're doing something that's against the norm. Not everybody's starting a business. So generally business people get shunted out a little bit. And please go and watch his video. Because he explains it very nicely. But I guess everybody, once you're in business, you'll actually understand what I'm saying. Because every now and then it feels like there's a lot of pressure on and you're looking around and it just feels like it's just you, because in your mind, you're like, I need to deal with this thing. You're not necessarily seeing big picture. But I think the big thing is there's a whole community of people who are exactly in the space that you are. And that's essentially why, a very big part of why I'm also trying to start this channel and grow this channel. Just to let people know that you're not alone. It's normal. It's normal to feel like you're alone. It's normal to feel like, Jesus, payday is coming up and you have so many people to pay or so many suppliers that you need to pay or whatever it is. You might have hit a few speed humps and things are looking tough for your business after maybe having looked rosy. And now you're panicking. It's very important to know that you're not alone. And that kind of goes back to choosing the right people and having that one person that you can bounce ideas off. And sometimes, I think for me, in my personal experience, I try and not be vulnerable when I'm talking business. So I try and have people that I talk to in a professional capacity. So my stresses and things that I have from a business perspective. But then it's also really important for you to have somebody on the side who you can be emotional and vulnerable with, because this shit is stressful, dude. And if you don't have somebody that you can vent to, somebody that you can be vulnerable to, Jesus, honestly, bottling it up, you will have a nervous breakdown. So get your people, I guess get yourself some people that you trust, that you can bounce ideas off, but you are definitely never alone. And even if it does come to it, then you can come to Adderley after 5, because we're going to be talking business and things, so come through. Away. A very good example for me actually of finding somebody that you can talk to and geek out to was the first time I met Maria Nepembe. So for those of you who don't know who Maria is, she is a big deal in Namibia, celebrity-wise. And she's also making some hectically serious moves. In Namibia, she's a proper mover and shaker. And my cousin actually hooked up a meeting for me to meet her. But on the way, I'm sitting in the car going, this guy literally out of the blue comes, dude, I have a meeting for you with Maria. I'm looking crusty as shit. It was a really crazy situation, but I sorted myself out and literally had one of the most encouraging business conversations for me, at least, because I was finding myself sitting there across a celebrity And they actually taking me seriously for the most part, or at least I thought she was taking me seriously. And we had some really, really constructive conversation about the state of the industry and where the industry was at, what I was trying to do, where she was moving. And in all of this, here, blue steel, you have to be like, oh no, professional, whatnot. When I met her, I was like inside doing cartwheels. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, how did my life escalate from not like knowing anybody or talking to anybody to now talking to celebrities and like having to be comfortable? And also, like, I think the one thing that was really surprising for me was just how comfortable I was in that environment. Just because of my 9 to 5. I mean, realistically speaking, 9 to 5, you're sitting in boardrooms, you're talking millions, etc., but just not for yourself. You're talking millions for the man. And that, like, to a certain extent, you build a confidence in yourself, but you build yourself a confidence in a certain confined. So in a confined where you have the man's backing, etc. So actually letting my wings free and like actually starting to talk my own business and actually starting to, I guess, refine my pitch. And like by my pitch, I mean that story, your business story, and like what you're trying to do and where you're going, which I think I have properly refined now. You actually start finding yourself going, wow, shit, dude, that's you. That's like really you, like, wow. But yeah, like just find yourself somebody. You're never alone. And then, yeah, you'll have people to bounce ideas off and just make sure you stay sane, essentially. From that conversation that I had with Maria, this celebrity in Namibia, and just like a whole lot more conversations that I had with business people. So Laz, like a bunch of Namibian like senior business people, etc., or people who are veterans and have been in the business space, I guess. I actually came to realize that everybody in the game is just trying to figure this shit out. Nobody knows. Like, these guys that are buying fishing vessels, what does this guy know about fishing? This guy has never even gone and fucking fished, like, just in a pond. Like, do you know what I mean? So everybody is just trying to figure it out. Like, with me and this USSD space, looking into lotteries, etc., it is properly crazy how you get to the space and you go, oh, is that all I need? I would have thought that it's a whole lot more difficult than just this little form, this paperwork, etc. So please, everybody's just trying to figure it out. Take your leap. Stop actually. After this video, go and start your damn business, man. And if you have started, well done on you. Cool. I think that was the everyone is trying to figure it out was my actual last piece of advice or tip that I had. But I did want to end off the video just with some projects that I have coming up. And just like a little glimpse into the vision that I have and what I'm working on currently. So as part of this whole initiative and like the gap that I've spotted in some of these developing African markets digitally, I've actually thought, I spend days on end trying to avoid calls with Google and Facebook. But like my team generally obviously takes some of those calls, etc. But like trying to actually get these guys to help some of these African markets develop digitally. And I've decided to choose like the Namibian market as a testing ground for all my business ideas, essentially. So what I'm working on, and like I'm not too far off, absolutely not too far off. Can't share too much detail right now, but not too far off. I'm working on Google and a Facebook a Google and a Facebook workshop. Yeah, Google and a Facebook workshop, but not hosted by me, actually hosted by Google themselves and hosted by Facebook themselves. And the point of these sessions essentially is to get them to host 2 sessions each. One session directed at digital advertisers in the country, and then the next session dedicated to content creators in the country. So, for example, Google, educating content creators on creating content for YouTube, and then educating marketers on how to use Google search, YouTube advertising, discovery ads, etc. The list is like endless. But just empowering the country essentially to start being a lot more creative and a lot more active digitally. Same from a Facebook perspective. So like whether it's on Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether like, you know what I mean? Like, so essentially how you can make money, like for content creators, how you can actually make money off these platforms, and just showing some really cool examples to inspire the youth. Just showing them examples of how other people are making use of the platforms to make money essentially. And I think it would be absolutely powerful. Obviously this is not necessarily just like a charity organization type thing that I'm trying to run. I have a bigger picture in mind. So like all the money that I intend to make is digital money, so online money, making money off people being online. And I essentially need help trying to get more of the market online, so get more people online. So well, in my vision, if I empower content creators to be better at making money for themselves online, their content will attract more people online essentially. And then with my businesses, then I also start eating a little bit more. But the big point here is I don't eat unless you guys eat. So I'm really trying to help the market digitally, and I'm trying to move the market forward digitally. So besides just this project, there's a whole lot of projects that I have in mind, and that my team and I have put on paper, and we actually starting to execute some of those pieces. I think if you're in Namibia and you know Tenga, that's the brand that I started. So I'll definitely share a lot more about Tenga and some of the pieces that we are trying to do with Tenga. But like really exciting times, man, guys. I think it's like so stressful. It's genuinely so stressful, starting a business and stuff. But like sometimes you sit down and you look back and you go, that's mine. That's mine. I have a whole team of people who are looking up to me to move a needle forward, etc., etc. But that's something that I'm working working on for myself. And for me, that feeling is like absolutely priceless. Absolutely priceless. I will make time to talk to anybody about business at any point in time. And if you want to hear what I'm trying to do, I will gladly make some time to talk to anybody about this. But like I know I can't do this by myself. I need to get quite a bit of help. And essentially I'm trying to use some of the influence I have and some of the people that I generally work with to try and help me move markets forward. And like I think the big picture here is all the businesses and all the pieces that I'm trying to do don't work unless I get the whole market digitally moving forward. And I think it's like really bold. I think what's the word? Unrealistic to most. But like think about it. What if I actually managed to, in 2 years' time, say that I managed to move a whole country forward digitally by actually trying to move the country forward digitally, not just landing on it. Helping some content creators, actually paying them their worth. Like, oh my goodness, for me, when I could pay the first African child for their creativity out of my pocket, I was like, wow, what the fuck? This is madness. Now we are like busy with things that are generations, that are going to help generations beyond us. And like I really want to encourage more people to, like, if you are on this journey and looking to start a business, please don't hesitate. Start your business and hit me up. I'll put my email address. Okay, maybe not my email address. Fuck. Maybe we're not there. Let's first see how it goes. But maybe in the comment section below, hit me up. Like just put your comment in there. Let me know how I can reach out to you, or whatever your socials are, like Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. I'll reach out to you and then we can try and see how we can help each other. But like what I am also doing, and just to end off this video, is I'm availing some of my time, not from a like just marketing perspective, but just in general, trying to help SMEs and like I guess small business owners move their businesses forward. Whatever I can do to help. Like I think where my expertise lies in brand building and management, and then my honors in brand leadership. So like building brands is essentially what I've been taught to do. And I've just been doing that in a digital space for the longest time now. So if you need any help, please don't feel shy. Please do reach out. Like I said, none of this moves unless we all move. So let's help each other out, and I think we can only be better for it. Well, making this video has been so exciting, and I really hope that I know I talk really fast, and I'm going to get better at this YouTube thing. Don't worry, I'm going to get better at it. But like I hope you can take the lessons from that, and let's engage. Hit me up in the comments and share with some of your business friends. Maybe you have some friends who are in business. I think maybe 1 or 2 of the points might relate to them, and they might actually, like, I don't know, subscribe. But yeah, please, man, really excited to see your feedback on this video and really excited to share some content that's coming up. I'm actually really excited to announce that we have managed to get some co-hosts for our show, for our podcasts when they launch, but also for the YouTube channel. So I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited. I'll definitely share a little bit more information for who our co-hosts are. But there's very particular reasons that I've chosen them, and like definitely really fun people and people that I think we can all learn from. But yeah, geez, at 50 minutes, I think we're going to end it here. Thanks so much, guys. Peace.